Hmm. Hey, Seth.
Hey,
How are you?
well, how are you doing?
I'm good. Oh, there we go. Why is my camera not on? Mr. Sadala,
Hello,
how are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you? Hi, Seth.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Hello.
Good to see you. Hey, Nor.
Hi, Seth. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I am shutting down Windows. Got a lot of things open today. Whew. Hey, how often do you guys shut down your computer and restart it, do you think?
I
I
try
do
to
that
make
every
it
day.
once a day. Once a day.
Once a day?
You know how
Yeah.
wrong it is to leave your computer on, like even on sleep mode? That is like super wrong. I just read that yesterday, actually.
Good to know. Maybe I'll start getting better at it.
I can remind you.
Sure. I just get lazy more than anything. Seth, how about you?
Probably not as enough as I should.
Yeah.
It's real easy
Hello.
just to say log off.
So,
Yeah, it's more of it's easier just to close the laptop and then be on my way and not worry about it. All right, how's everybody doing?
good. Kind
I've
of.
got, sorry, why? I think I've got some internet issues going on my end. Am I consistent or am I breaking up?
You're good.
You're good.
Oh, okay. I'm still going to shut some things down. Shut it down. Why? Weird. Weird. Well, I've been staring at our new website most of the morning and enjoying that. So that's kind of been my distraction, if you will. Um, wow, we Seth, you're the only client in here now today. Interesting. Well, look, we've I want to go through a couple of different things today, but I want to hear and from our team too. But first, Seth, anything that you are seeing, experiencing, wondering about, anything kind of different or odd or something we're talking about in anything social lately for you?
Um, Anything odd? I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything that's really I've seen this week or anything that's jumped out at me. I mean, I think one thing I continue to see on my LinkedIn posts are the personal ones get so much more engagement and traction than the
Yep.
other ones. And the other thing that's interesting to me, and I've shared this with you, Brandon, but I'll share it with everyone else is, LinkedIn posts that Reem put up 2 weeks ago people today are commenting on, right? So it's the algorithm or whatever. It's just now coming into view. So just because you posted something and 2 days later you've got 2 likes doesn't mean that they're not more aren't going to come along with it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
there's something I've been noticing on LinkedIn that the posts they like from other people they are being posted like 2 and 3 days ago, and they just show up today. So something is going on. Like even there someone like posted a post and he did a poll on LinkedIn asking people when did you see this post, like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, because there's something going on.
LinkedIn is excuse me.
You need one of
LinkedIn
these,
is
Brandon.
I know, and you need one of those. I
You need
finished
one of
my
these right
coffee
here.
on it. I like it. Now we just gotta get new ones with the new modern logo. Look, LinkedIn is they're doing work on their algorithm. I think LinkedIn, they're not in trouble from a sense that they're going away anytime soon, but they are a little bit in trouble in that the algorithm is not serving people well, especially with the influx of AI generated content. And so there's been an increase in content. And so they are playing around with the algorithm. I think the longevity of post is a good thing. It means that the algorithm's doing some work. Say that posts that are getting some good engagement is going to actually get shown to more people. I believe from what I read, they're really working on understanding individual behavior better in order to try and serve up better posts for individual people, which means so much more of the viral posts. They're really working on trying to limit that, because viral posts means like the big creators get all the traffic and everyone else gets crumbs. And what they're really trying to appeal to is getting more people using LinkedIn better. And they've got a challenge with it because of the AI, all the AI stuff. Anyone else?
Yeah, from my side, I'm actually on my news feed. I'm not seeing the actual posts, but I'm seeing interactions and I'm seeing like repost, but the actual post doesn't come like at the very first thing. I I don't know what's happening there. Like I have to go search into the list to see the posts.
What do you, I mean, is that a fist bump thing or a LinkedIn thing?
LinkedIn thing.
No, it's a LinkedIn thing, because that happens with me as well. Like I always see posts that people either commented on or liked. I rarely get a post that's like just a post that is posted in the
Oh.
newsfeed.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more of that too, except for the big creators.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
And
So-
also ads too. Like at some point I had 2 ads like right after each other. There was
Yeah.
nothing in between, so that was weird too.
Well, remember last week we were talking, I was trying to show like that news feed stuff and like how you try to hack your news feed. Not that we all use news feeds. That's one of the values of Fist Bump, but I do find myself scrolling through the news feed periodically to see what am I missing? Because with Fist Bump, I go to just the posts I want to see all the time. So I do scroll through the news feed, but yeah, that's the research I was doing from other people with the news feed is it's like post, ad, post, post, ad, post, and then you have the ads on the side as well. But they got to make their money. I mean, we use it for free unless we upgrade, right?
Yeah.
One thing, Brandon, I did want to ask you. I was thinking about this. So I'll get LinkedIn connection requests from just random people, some people that I would deem are competitors of yours. I mean, what's your thoughts on, do you accept every LinkedIn connection request you get just to build it? Or are you selective and you're looking at it saying, how is this person going to benefit me?
Yeah. What do you guys think? Butch, you were shaking your head.
Well, I definitely don't connect with anybody that asks to connect with me. Sometimes you can just tell from what their title is, it's somebody you want to be connected to. But if not, I would check out the profile, because you can wind up with, if you accept everybody, you'll go on LinkedIn one day and have 20 requests for demos on somebody you connected with yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, Seth, I don't. I get people sending me connection requests and pitching me, and there are competitors in a way. Like, I mean, it's a lot of that is AI and it's automation. They try to use AI to make things personal, and they use automation to do it at scale. It's not my style at all.
Okay. All right.
So I don't accept some people that are kind of on the fringe where I'd be like, I think maybe they're going to sell me something, but they're also in the industry that I'd want to be connected to. I'll accept it and say, and I'll shoot a quick message says, happy to connect. Please don't pitch anything to me. And I had one guy, I don't know, a month or so ago, he's like, well, how do you know that what I'm offering you isn't going to change your life if I don't pitch it to you? And I went, remove, done. I just don't, it's just not where I want to spend my time.
Right.
And anybody that communicates with me like that, I'm pretty certain I like to do business with people who I like. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like that guy just by the way he did it. It's just not going to be my style.
Right.
So it's a no-brainer for me.
Okay. That's kind of my approach as well, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing out on something.
Yeah. Cool.
Based on
Hey,
a
Chris,
comment.
welcome.
Based on a comment like that, I think he could do know, like, and trust backwards. I wouldn't trust anybody that did that. I wouldn't like anybody that did that, and I don't want to know anybody that did that.
There you go. That's a good post right there, Butch.
I'll make a note. Hey, I make a note of that.
Cool. So
Okay, got it.
You'll see that next week.
Yeah. I'm going a little deep on everybody today. I'm going to get a little philosophical, and you guys can smack me around if you like. Hey, Chris. I want to encourage us to look at do the opposite of what most people are doing. And I remember that when I started investing in real estate, and that was one of the big pieces of advice was do the opposite. When people are selling, buy. And when people are buying, sell. Do the opposite. And, there's a lot of people that have made their livings by doing that. When I'm looking at social, there's so much AI right now, and there's so much generic, light, fluffy content that I believe our biggest advantage is to go deeper in humanity and be all human. And what does that mean? More pictures with people, and especially ourselves. Seth, you said it earlier, you do notice the personal posts. They always do better. Look, I think that a lot of people work remote. They work from home. Even though we're not under COVID lockdowns, I still believe that this work from home has made people's worlds small. And our curiosity factor, our humanity curiosity factor is leading people that they're connecting with other people's humanity more now than before, because they're not experiencing that humanity with other people. So I believe we need to up the personal pictures with a business message. I believe we need to find topics that are not perfectly business focused, but they're not perfectly personal. They're still other oriented and giving into the audience. And I know that was probably clear as mud on what I exactly mean by that, right? Does anyone have an example of that, though, before I go and explain or try to explain what I'm meaning? Does anybody have a thought on that, what I just said, or an example of what you think that means? Come on. Somebody.
Brandon, can you just repeat that? I think I
Yeah.
do, but I want to hear the question again.
Yeah.
Or the statement.
Yeah, you got it. So I think we need topics. So number one is personal picture with us, picture with the client, picture of us selfie outside of a customer's office with the sign in the background, picture of us at lunch. Hold on, I got to turn that off. Pictures of us with lunch, but then we talk about the meeting that we just went to. That combination of humanity and business, we need to do more of that. I think more pure personal posts are okay because people are connecting with humanity. This new style, if you will, it's not personal, but it's personal to us, something we care about. And it goes deeper and it's more something that a lot of people will resonate with, like a topic, a general truth, a way of thinking. And I'm going to pause there, intentionally not being as clear as I can be with an example, just to see what you guys are hearing.
Yeah, that resonates with me. Just to use myself as an example, because I can kind of see that. I was in Washington, D.C. last week, and I did some posts, myself, my wife, or just me. There's a picture of the White House in one of them, and we did a tour and we ate some crabs, right? So I kind of told the story of my trip to DC, which was for a trade show. So even though I'm not talking specifically about trade shows, I'm trying to show that I'm connected to the industry. I'm out there. I'm moving around, and those all by and large did very well, even though it was what you're saying. It was a blend of, I'm here for a business reason, but I'm talking about stuff in general. How, DC is freaking amazing. It was laid out several hundred years ago before any of this stuff even existed. And the forethought that the architects of the city had and the ideas that are underlaying that our government is built on was just like mind blowing how cool that was to stop and think about it. And we were there without kids. Last time was 10 years ago. I was chasing kids around and we were, I didn't think about it like that. So it was kind of just sharing some of those thoughts, and those posts by and large did really well because everybody can relate to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love going to DC. I love going to DC. And then there was, the dining out with my wife and eating crabs. So are you a crab or a lobster fan? Like, none of that. I didn't feel like any of it was too fluffy because it's just like relatable human stuff. With some of it had a little bit more of a business undertone, but again, I think like my goal with what I'm doing on LinkedIn is to be relatable, to be that friendly, easygoing guy that if you've got to do a trade show, like, oh, Chris does trade shows and he seems like a good guy. Literally, like it's I'm not that deep. That's kind of my play. So I'm trying to build relatability and that fast track to the know, like, and trust. And I feel like those posts did a really good job of that, with the background and the setting being something different than my normal dog walk, which sometimes does fine, sometimes doesn't. But changing it up and having DC as that backdrop just changed everything.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone want to comment on that? I've got several comments, which are great, which thank you for that, Chris, but I want to make room for everybody.
I got to be honest. I still don't know exactly what you're asking.
That's fine. That's fine. We're going to get there. I've got examples I want to show that I think will bring it to light. Chris, when you were talking about that, what it makes me think of, and I've thought about this before, I think about it a lot around this. The foundation of how to win friends and influence people is how people feel about you determines everything. And how they feel about themselves when they're with you determines everything in that relationship. And we need relationships for everything, right? They've got to say yes. They've got to introduce us to someone else, whatever. What I was thinking when you were saying that, Chris, is think of the live event, the person in the room that kind of like works the room and owns the room. 99.9% of the time, they're not talking about business.
Right.
They're being funny. They're, connecting people. They're talking about, oh, we're all here in this city. You guys should go here. You should go there. Oh, check this place out. It's amazing. Here's the great experience. And what happens is everyone in the room starts getting drawn to them. And then the next day when you see them in their booth, you walk right into their booth and you go, oh my gosh, because you feel like you already know them. And that's where the opportunities happen. And I think we're recreating that offline behavior experiences in our online world.
I even have noticed that when I'm going through LinkedIn, I am attracted more to the personal posts than to the business posts that people are putting up, right? So, and you can tell right away what the post is about. So I think it validates everything we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit today about hooks too, because it relates to it. Remember, today's theme is really do the opposite of everyone else. Because I think, Seth, what you just said there illustrates it. Like, I'm so tired of seeing everybody's business posts. I'm really getting tired of seeing everybody talk about themselves. But what my humanity cares about is, hey, what are other people doing? I mean, that's one of the big things of social media, right? We get a peek into other people's lives. And as long as we don't let ourselves go down the path of comparing ourselves to everyone else, like, remember, like, it's like with my kids, remember, if you compare your true inner self with other people's projected selves on social media, you will always lose. You will always feel inferior. So don't do that. But I enjoy that part about social, is seeing, what are people like? Who are they? What do they do in their lives? And once I get that part, then I'm more interested in their business. You guys find that too?
Yes.
And if we're that way, then I believe other people are that way. So Butch, let me show you a few things of what I mean. There's some universal topics that I believe people resonate with, that we could be a champion of, if you will, or a voice for. Butch, kind of like what you and I had been talking about lately. So Butch and I kind of keep each other accountable. I mean, we're really good friends besides fist bump. We talk a lot about life stuff, challenges we're facing, how we're handling those challenges. And one of the things that we've talked about just the last couple of days, Butch, was to focus on the things you want, not the things you don't want. Focus on the things you have, not the things you don't have. And focus on the things you can control and not the things you can't control. And if we live our lives from that, it makes life a lot easier. Okay? How do you guys respond to that?
You're stealing my stuff.
Easier said than done.
Absolutely. But does it resonate with everybody in some way?
It resonates, and I think it's one of those things you have to be very intentional about.
Mm-hmm. Did it create some sort of like strong or emotional reaction in each one of you? Was there something in there that made you go, ooh, I needed that, or ooh, I need to think about that?
Yeah.
Everyone?
So let me say something. Let me say something about what Seth said, because Seth was exactly right. I made the decision, I don't know, 10 days ago, something like that. It doesn't matter when it was, that I was going to be intentional about that. And I asked myself that question probably 100 times a day. Something happens. What can I control here? Not what's that SOB doing? And doing it intentionally, you really find that life is easier. And I think doing it intentionally, then it can become a habit. I don't know that. I haven't experienced that yet, but I believe it can.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. Here's my point of it. This is a topic, and maybe it's not everybody, but this is a topic that most people have some sort of a reaction to. Maybe that day they go, oh my gosh, I needed that. Maybe that day they go, man, I have been struggling with that. Or maybe that day they're just feeling more motivated to be a better person and they connect with it. These type of topics that I'm saying, they're a little bit, they take you a bit deeper, but they're universal. That's how I believe more people are connecting. Let me show you these things. I think I've got some good examples that I've stumbled across that have got me thinking about it. Look at this. Look at this image. Here's employees don't care about company swag, blah, blah, blah. Great, good post. But look at this. It hit a nerve, right? It hit something universal that people were able to attach an emotion to, or get excited about, or have an opinion about. It's going deeper. Any thoughts on that? I've got 3 examples like this that have made me start thinking about these. But any comment on that, or thoughts, or anything you see in there? Am I going way too deep today?
No,
I think
it's good.
those what you're showing, that what employees care about. I mean, and I agree, in my business, I mean, I see that and I agree 100%. I mean, those are human instincts that you're showing, right? There with that, and those are things that are important to people, right? It's what's meaningful, what's going to make them feel valued and important. I remember, I'll never forget one time this woman told me at this company that for recognition, their company gives out gift cards to Applebee's. She said, I hate Applebee's. So it wasn't meaningful, right? It wasn't what they were looking for. All they want is, recognition. Hey, we recognize your efforts, the transparency, the communication. That's what people want. Yeah. It reminds me, I want to do a post on love languages based on what Seth said. Another universal truth.
I think it's interesting. I think the post is interesting, but the comments below to go and get 19,500 people to react to that, and then this first guy here, it's all about the money. Like, people are going to say stuff, and then there's going to be visceral either disagreements or agreements with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I guess what you're saying, right, is if we play around in this area of these universal truths, or things that are a reasonably hot topic, they allow us to gain traction that's well over and above what our normal interactions are going to be.
Yeah. When I see the repost here, over 2,000 reposts, why do people repost?
Because it resonates with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They want to be associated with that message. They want to share that message. They wish, I wish I would have thought about this. Let me share it. They want to be connected to that message. Guys, look, I think we all think about things that are like this. We're just not intentional about, do we share them? I believe most of us think about these things, something along those lines. Let me give you another idea. Actually, I want to do this one first. Interesting here. Quitting is for winners. Knowing when to quit, change direction, leave a toxic situation, demand more from life, give up on something, da, da, da. Comment below if you agree and follow for more. It's one of those universal truths that we just don't talk about a lot, but it's good when we get encouraged around it. And again, I think it's something that people go, oh yeah, like, I hadn't thought about that for a while. And I want to remind you, whatever, if you pick up a theme or something like this, you've got to be authentic about it too. Like, don't go pick up one of these and just go, oh, let me go recreate that. I want to make sure that it's something that really resonates with you. Think about it and choose a topic that a couple times a month you do something a little bit deeper, a little bit more motivating, a little bit more encouraging, and see how it'll play out. So let's not just go borrow one of these. Like, you may find one of these and go, you know what? Yeah, that really resonates with me, and use it as an example and start moving with it. Totally. Here's another one. You guys know this one meant a lot to me because it was soccer. It didn't get as much as the other ones, but it's telling the story. Ollie Watkins scored a goal in the 90th minute, played for England, beat Netherlands in the semifinals to put England into the finals. But he goes in here through his things as he was rejected from a club as a kid. He failed twice. At 20, he was playing non-league football, which generally, if you're not in a professional ranks by the time you're 18, you're not going anywhere. He didn't make the Euro 2020. He didn't make the 2022 World Cup. He almost, I don't know if it says it here, but he almost didn't make the 2024 Euro team. And then he scored the winning goal and became a hero overnight. Struggle isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Universal truth. I had a new LinkedIn friend of mine who we are obviously much more closer buddies in his mind than I thought. But, just out of the blue, texted this to me today. These types, you're on mute, Butch.
What does that say, what you just showed?
Oh, you can see it. It says, not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. Right. Cool. Great message. Universal truth. Something we can all get behind. Now, I would not say post it on LinkedIn like that. You'll get some likes, but adding your heart to it, bringing in a real story from someone else, or taking a picture or telling your own story about failing, those universal truths resonate with people. Remember, our goals are, we want our industry to see us everywhere, and we want them to feel like they know us, because we want to hit that know, like, and trust before we ever even have a conversation with them. Because when we hit that, they see us everywhere, and then they start to feel like they know us, and they've already laid a foundation, and in their mind, they're moving into the know, like, and trust before we are. This guy that sent us, and I don't want to say his name, I don't want to be rude to him either. But when we got on our first Zoom call, I was kind of like paused a little bit, because like he thought we were best friends. I'd never met him before. But he loved my content. He's like, oh my gosh, this, and he was referring to different posts that happened a while ago. But this is what we're trying to do with Scale. And I think some of these deeper topics have the potential to help us do that if they're authentic to who you are. And they're a universal truth that resonates with people. Let me show you one more.
Hey, Brandon, can I just interject along these same lines of thought, given where we are in the country with the divisive political situation going on, when we put something out there that, like you said, these are universal truths that we're all looking for stuff that we can get behind so that we're not divided, right? So when you put something out there that's just like, like struggle is part of success, right? Like anybody who's ever done anything in their lives understands that, right? So everybody can kind of rally. So maybe that's, given where kind of we are in our society and culture and everything, people are looking for those things that they can rally around. Everybody can be, part of that.
I think that's a good summary of these. I mean, these are 4. I saw a few other posts. I've been kind of looking like, what are people really paying attention to right now. And a lot of it is this, I just feel like it is like the way you summarized it, Chris, I think is great. I think when it comes to hooks as well, a year ago, hooks were awesome, in my opinion. And now they're good. We just have to get better at them because more and more people are doing them. And now we're starting to be like, oh, there's a hook. I don't think we stopped doing them because there's still a lot of people that don't know that it's a strategy. But I think thinking about things. So guys, what's got me, I skimmed through this book years ago, Brené Brown's Daring Greatly. Oh, let me do this. There we go.
Yeah, you're a tiny little picture.
I
There we go.
forgot. It's Brené Brown's Daring Greatly. You know, if you want, go to ChatGPT and ask for like a 10-page summary of it. You get the meat of it. You can go to YouTube and look for her TED Talks. I think she's in like the top 5 viewed TED Talks ever, with their first one on vulnerability. She's a professor at University of Houston. But what I'm seeing, what I'm believing is that human connection is becoming the key. You know, we've always said your network is your net worth. It's not what you know, but who you know. I think in this disconnected world that we're really getting back to that. And I believe what I see with the data is people are just sick of people talking about themselves, but they're going to connect over some of these different universal truths. So what I've been thinking about, I'll share with you what I've been thinking about is what are some of those topics that I think about a lot that actually scare me if I took those public? You know, I spent a lot of years masquerading my insecurities and my low self-esteem with success. And I believe that if I talk about that, it's a good universal truth that people would rally around. But it also scares the hell out of me to share that in public. So that's what I'm wrestling with is I believe some of these universal truths, when we have the courage to share some of them, and some of these, I don't think that they went that deep, like what employees care about versus things employees don't care about versus what they care about. It's not that deep. Like, I think I would be very comfortable talking about that. But talking about things like the way I like to build companies, where genuinely caring about my team members and making that a priority, even over profits, because I know in the bigger picture that will actually trump strategy and other things and make the company more profitable. I've been laughed at when I've said that in different environments, because it's not the cool CEO thing to say. It's not the appropriate CEO thing to say. Is that something I'm willing to go public with? So thinking about what are some of the things, there's different ways to get to these. Like, what are you afraid of? What do you hate? What do you truly love? Like, there's different ways you can start thinking about it to go deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm an encourager because I desperately needed encouragement throughout most of my life. That's something I could talk about. The question is, do I have the courage to do it? What I want to challenge you guys with is thinking about this as your person, but what part of that would you be willing or not to bring into part of your online persona, of your personal brand? Because I believe that is the big difference between people who have influence and people who are influencers. And as much as I've said for a lot of years, like, look, I don't want to be an influencer, and I really don't think I do. I just want to be influential in a space. getting there is the same way. The path to that is the same. And it's having that courage to hold on to something, believe in something, champion something, and support it over and over and over again, even when you're getting crickets or you're getting some pushback. That's what takes people to next levels. And it's freaking hard, which is why most people don't do it. I'm going to pause. I feel like I'm passionate about this and I haven't quite figured it out exactly how to do it. So you guys are kind of in this process of developing and learning it with me. And also I want to challenge you guys to think about it as well. What do you think?
I think that us being your shrink and serving as couch time, I think is time well spent. No, I love it. Like, listen, the whole idea of opening up those vulnerable conversations it's hard for everybody, right? We've all got these things that we're afraid of or scared to do. And I think if we can get over that fear, that's gonna resonate with a lot of people. I think thinking back to some of my posts, that have been let in more vulnerability, those have been some of the ones that have done the best. Or if they haven't done that great, they made me feel really good because there was some connection points. There was one that I did where it wasn't like oversharing or anything, but I talked about like when, for those of you who are parents, when do you know that your kids are okay? When do you know, at what point, do you get to that you're like, all right, I've done my job. I'm not done parenting, but I see the path and they're a fully functioned, person in our society. So I did a post about how my son struggled through school until he found the passion of being a hands-on automotive guy. And that was such a game changer because he struggled. They wanted to put him in a box of like, you're not, you're an ADHD kid. You can't seem to sit still and learn the way that everybody's supposed to learn. And all he needed to do was find something that he was passionate about. Mm-hmm. So I did a post about, how things have just, he's done so well ever since we changed schools. He went to a tech school. He started doing hands-on stuff and it was like a game changer for him. Yeah. So it wasn't 100% my story, but it was me being able to tell that as a parent. And, it didn't go viral or anything, but some of the comments that people were like, oh my God, Chris, this is awesome. Like I have a child that's experiencing the same thing. So yeah. that was super powerful for me, to make some of those connections and just start some of those conversations and feel good about sharing. Like, hey, for those of you who are parents of younger kids who are struggling with this, like, don't give up. Like this is going to sort itself out, but you got to help them, maybe steer them towards finding their passion so that a similar story can be your truth for the future. Mm-hmm. So, that was pretty cool, in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brandon, one thing that's worked for me, to make things like being more, what am I afraid of? Is to say, for me, this is it. This is something I struggle with. This is a solution I found. I'm not telling you it'll work for you, but I hope it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I wonder too if that's a little bit too passive.
Well, I was doing those words to make the point. I don't think that's the way you do it, mm-hmm. But nobody can, if you say this works for me, nobody can tell you it doesn't.
Sure.
They may tell you it doesn't work for them, but they can't tell you it doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's that fine line between talking at people and talking with people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here's kind of the crescendo of today. The more with our content and even in our comments, we can be more unique and be remembered, stand out, rise above the noise. I see you everywhere. I feel like I already know you. When we hold on to something strong, like we hold on to a belief something we hate, something we love, something we champion, and we hold on to that stronger, meaning we publish about it more often, we stand behind it, then we're more remembered. Some will remember us negatively because they're not going to agree. Some would be like, I can't believe you post that stuff on LinkedIn. What I've learned from me is people that say that, they're not my people anyway. They're just not going to be the people that like me even offline because I'm very personal. Like, I want my clients to be friends. I want to be friends. I want to serve people. I want to be a part of it. And they're not going to be that way. And so they're probably not going to like my style anyway. But when we do that and then we support it with the second punch, right? The 1-2 fist bump of being more direct with our direct messages. If we're more bold in our post and we're holding on to some of these things that we believe we want to represent or help represent us as the topic, then we're sending the messages that are more direct to people, not around those topics, but this is what we do. This is, not what we do. I got lazy with my words, but crafted messages about value proposition and asking for their time. Yes, a lot of people are doing that. But what they're not doing is the publishing the content and being vulnerable and then sending messages asking for meetings. That's where we can really be different. Because right now, everybody's sending messages. I mean, my inbox in LinkedIn has just gotten ridiculous. The amount of, connection requests, plus the pitch slaps, the direct messages, so they could send it to me even when they're not my first connection and they can pitch slap me that way. Like, those are just getting out of control, which means I know they're getting out of control for everybody. So how do we do things that are different? I think the main thing we can do is with what we share. How often we share, what we share, and our commenting are the things that we can really do that most people are too lazy to do. And then follow it up with those messages. Because at this point, the hope and the confidence I'd want you guys to have is they know me. They've seen me. They feel like they know me. I'm going to give them a chance, because if they feel like they know me in a positive way, they're much, much more likely to say yes. And if they feel like they know me in a negative way, well, they were never going to say yes to me anyway. And now I don't have to waste my time. I can just move on. I think that's one of the ways that we start to get more meetings in this busier time of LinkedIn because of AI.
Makes sense.
What are you all thinking about it? How's that resonating? Brandon went deep today.
Just looking for some fluff, Friday fluff.
Friday
Frickin'
fluff.
You got me sitting on the couch.
My dad post today is it's actually just one dad joke, and it's pretty good. It's geared towards Gen Xers. In fact, Aya, when you read it, did you even know what it meant or why it was funny?
Yeah. No,
You
no,
did?
I got it. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
you did?
really.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah.
Brandon, I wanted to ask you this, and this is not meant to redirect the conversation, but I noticed that you changed your tagline to "We help Gen Xers and baby boomers."
Yeah.
You're getting very specific with who you believe your audience to be.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we're talking about today, right? I mean, like we got people who either like us or don't like us, right? So don't try to be all things to all people. We have to find our people and hone our message. So how did you get to that point? Just out of curiosity. We just lose Brandon.
He left you hanging.
He did. I'm not answering you, Chris.
Because I'm not answering that.
No, everybody's gonna have to go. What happened, Brandon?
I went to click share screen and I hit leave and just gave Chris the figurative bird.
Well, North's gonna answer the question for you.
Go for it.
No, I wasn't. I
was,
was just gonna stay here until you come back. hold the ship until you come back.
Yeah. Yeah, look, Chris, we kind of went all in on it. Here's what we found is that kind of the Gen X to baby boomers, they find a tremendous value in what we're doing, and they tend to be very satisfied. When we've talked to people that are a little bit younger, and especially in like venture-backed tech companies, they have these teams of people that think they know it all, and they want to actually tell us all the things that we're doing wrong, instead of like the things that we're doing right. And so we just said, you know what, why are we trying to talk to everybody? Let's talk to the people who find the most value in us. So yeah, we went all in on kind of the grays.
Okay.
I just can't believe how many videos we found with great fist bump situations.
You didn't have to pay extra for these guys to make that little
Oh,
video.
look at this one. Boom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, yeah, I think it is all, I mean, part of it is my journey right now with Fist Bump. Part of it's my personal Brandon journey, because I would say that my funnel amplified company is just kind of done its thing, not real great, mostly because I didn't go all in on something. Salute. We kind of floundered out there because we didn't put a stake in the ground and say, this is who we are and this is exactly what we do. We tried to be too much to too many people, is my belief. And getting Facebook focused on, and you know, I've got a great team of people around me, but for me it was, hey, what am I really passionate about? And what I'm passionate more about is that personal brand, building reputation, and generating first meetings with people, not the selling process, not the rest of it. I allowed myself to get kind of pulled into more selling because of Carson around mastering modern selling. And then I started moving Fist Bump in that way until I went, wait a minute, that's not me. That's Carson. So anybody have anything else you want to talk about? Share wins, any good wins, anything we're learning new?
I'll throw out. I went to a live event last night. It was hosted by a woman that I'm doing some partnership stuff with, and it was, again, just kind of great to be in and amongst, you know, a community. It was an event, small event for event planners. I'm kind of in the event world. So it was just really cool to, you know, to be out there and be part of that. And I think, you know, as we think about creating content and look for opportunities to do so, when we put ourselves into these areas, it's just ripe for, you know, all sorts of ideas that kind of come out because you're talking to people, right? So
yeah.
Kind of like what Brandon's saying, it's like, what are you seeing? What are you experiencing? What are you learning? And it was very cool to, you know, to kind of hear stories. We had 3 different people get up and talked a little bit about their business, and they were all really good storytellers. You know, so I came away with it like kind of energized. You know, it's too much. I'm in the office a lot, which is great for socialization. But if I'm in the office too much and just kind of, I get very kind of narrow focused on what's this, all the stuff going on, the internal stuff. My juice comes from my personal interaction with customers, clients, potential, you know, people, and building relationships. So
yeah,
I guess that was kind of a long-winded way of saying, you know, get out there, get with your people, build communities, you know, and, you know, more face-to-face and more live stuff for me as an extrovert is where I need to go for energy.
Yeah, and I would say to extend that for everybody, you know, you got to know yourself to lead yourself. Where are you going to get your energy? Aya and I were talking about that yesterday when we were talking about our Myers-Briggs profiles. And you know, her profile is introvert, and she's like, but I don't think I'm an introvert. Yeah, where do you go to get energy? Where do you go when you're tired? Do you go alone or do you go with people? That determines where you are. And we've got to know ourselves in order to lead ourselves. And I think that's part of the encouragement around the social side too. We've got to know ourselves so that when we show up more authentic, it resonates with people. When we're unintentionally disingenuous, I would say. I don't think most of us intend to be disingenuous with our content. But when we're not fully ourselves, there's just something about the content that people go, eh.
You know, this is funny. I saw a meme yesterday on Instagram. It was a picture of a
right.
hamster sitting in bed and crossing its hand, like invisible hand. And it was like, there was a quote and it was like, wow, you are very self-aware. And then underneath it was like, thanks, it's ruining my life. And that was very funny to me because being self-aware is a huge burden. Like people don't understand how hard it is to be self-aware, but at the same time, you hold yourself accountable to a lot of things. And
Yeah.
personally, it took me a really long time to be self-aware. And honestly, I lost a lot of people in the process, but during that journey, I found a place where I can put myself, be confident, and look at myself differently, look at my job differently. Like it's a burden, but it helps. So
Yeah, I think that knowing
Wow.
ourselves. Go ahead,
Wow.
Rich.
I think we can end on that. That's the motivation for the day. It really is. I mean, there was a lot of truth in what you said.
Yeah, I
That's-
agree.
It sounds like your next post.
yeah, I was just thinking about that. Great minds.
Well, hey,
Absolutely.
look, I want to, what we talked about today, I want to incorporate, I'm not sure what my topic is, but here's my public appeal to our group of accountability. You guys can push me on it. Because I think for me, it'll be good for me. It'll be good for Fist Bump. And it is actually truly who I want to be. I just haven't had the courage to do it publicly to the depth that I've wanted to do it. And I've flirted with it, but I think it's time to go all in. And it scares the hell out of me. But I think it's the right thing to do.
There for you, Brandon.
My encouragement for you guys as well.
Thanks, Brandon.
You got it.
Good way to end.
Good stuff.
Have a nice
All right.
weekend, everyone.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.